brother is my anchor. My brother is my favorite person. He's the absolute best. And growing up, I looked up to him. I wanted to be just like him. My brother was very affectionate growing up. He loved to give me hugs and kisses, and don't get me wrong, I totally loved when he showered me with love like that, but I'm definitely more of a I need my space kind of person. So once I reached my threshold, if he was still smothering me, I would lash out at him, which I know is not very nice, but that's just how I expressed myself. Things started to change once my brother started middle school. My brother is 3 years older than me, so we were never in middle school at the same time. And my brother is also the complete opposite of me. He's personable, he's extroverted. It's so easy for him to make friends. And so when he got to middle school, he started making friends. He started exploring all these new interests and really exploring this person that he wanted to be, and he was thriving. And this was completely unexpected for me. I never thought I would reach a point in which we wouldn't be close. So while he was off becoming this great, wonderful person, I retreated into my imagination and books. On Christmas Eve, when he was in 7th grade, we went to church, and at Christmas Eve Mass, if you don't know, you are given a candle. So we got our candles, we marched into church, we sat in the pew, and immediately, because this was more interesting than the sermon, I just paid attention to the flame on the candle. And I would just watch it, and I would watch the wax drip down. It's so fascinating. And then when it came time to blow out the candles, I would watch the smoke just curl up. And I looked at all the wax I had gathered on the little paper they put on the candle that prevents the wax from dripping down into your fingers. And this was just so entertaining. And then I felt a nudge. I turned to look. My brother's holding something out to me, so I hold out my hand, places something in there, and it was a little heart that he had made out of the leftover wax from his candle. And I looked at him, and he's just looking at me with this like sheepish smile on his face. And it meant the world that he had taken the time to make this little heart that barely took up any space on the palm of my hand. And I would just look at it, and I would hold it, and then I would look at it again, and I would freak out because I was like, oh no, the warmth from my hand is like morphing it. So I would go in, and I would point out the little top again, and I would round out the top of the heart, and I would just look at it and hold it. And that's how it happened for the rest of Mass. And as soon as we got home, I went and I put it in my jewelry box, and it stayed there. And on days in which I would feel sad, I would take it out and I would look at it again. And again, it might have just been my imagination, but it maybe looked like it was not looking like a heart anymore. So I would go in and I would fix it, and I would just hold it until I felt better. And then I'd place it back in the jewelry box. And it was just this great reminder that although my brother was growing up and he didn't want to hang out with his little sister anymore, he was always going to be there for me. And I definitely needed that reminder once my brother joined the Army Reserves. My brother joined the Army Reserves right out of high school. And at this point, we had never been apart for more than a day or two. So the day that he left for boot camp, my mom and I drove him to the airport. We just stood in the lobby and watched him take the escalator up to the TSA screening area. And we watched him until he was out of sight. And then we drove home without saying a word. 3:15. That was the time my brother's plane was scheduled to take off. My mom looks at the clock and then she just says, "He's gone, huh?" And I say, "Yeah, Mom, he is." And she started crying and I started crying. We just held each other as my brother flew off into his future. I had to adjust to not having my brother with me every single day, 24/7. And my brother went to the Army Reserves and then went straight into university, so it was a hard adjustment. But I still had that little heart, and I would take it out and I look at it whenever I needed it. And I still have that heart to this day. It still sits in that same jewelry box, just waiting for me whenever I go home and visit everyone. My brother is now married and he's dad to the most adorable little 2-year-old girl. And now she's blessed to have all those hugs and kisses. And as for my brother, he says that he's blessed with a daughter who has the exact same temperament as her aunt.